Hello there. Today I want to look at the VLOOKUP formula in Excel. So this is a popular formula which is used by many people and also is one of the common formulas which is asked during the interviews. So before we start with the data set, I know you can see some text here already, but let me just show what the VLOOKUP formula is all about, or what Excel says it is all about. So what it says is VLOOKUP looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table and then returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. By default, the table must be sorted in an ascending order. So key points to note here is the leftmost column of a table, and then also the table must be sorted in an ascending order. So this one can be is will be helpful in only some particular scenarios. So it is important, but only for specific scenarios. And what arguments does it take? It takes up lookup value. So that's the value which you will be looking for. Table array is the table where you are pulling the value from, and column index is the column number where the value exists, the value which you want to pull for. And then range lookup is it has two options: exact match and approximate match. So now I'm going to use a table which I downloaded from Kaggle. If you don't know what Kaggle is, it's a website hosting numerous datasets. And also, if you are a fan of data analysis, it's a very good site to check out. It has a lot of tutorials as well. So I'm going to use this movie data set. So the data set contains this is a cleaned up version of it. So I've kept the movie title, genre, content rating, IMDb score, and the director name. I didn't want to keep too many columns for the sake of simplicity. So now just imagine this scenario. You have this movie title, and then you want to get these values. So the first instinct you will get is, let me just find this value in the original table and then copy paste the values. So yes, we can certainly do that. So the secret life of Walter Mitty, you can copy these values and paste them here. But now imagine if you have a list of like 5, 10, or even hundreds of such titles, and then you want to get these values. It will be practically impossible to do copy paste. Of course, it is possible, but you will spend a lot of time, and then it will be a very manual and boring task. So that's where VLOOKUP comes in. So I'll still use the same format, and in this case, we want to find we want to pull out the details of all these. So I will just take you slowly. So how does the VLOOKUP formula work? We can go through the syntax again. So it needs the VLOOKUP value. Remember, VLOOKUP value is what you will be comparing from the other list. So it's basically your lookup value, as it says. So in our case, the lookup value is this because that's our reference point in the other list. So you want the genre of this value. You want the content rating of this value. And you want the IMDb score of this value. So this is your lookup value. Table array is the table where you will be pulling the data from. And remember, when we're looking at the information on the VLOOKUP formula, it said that the lookup value should be on the leftmost. So now if we sorry about that. So if we go to this table, our movie titles are in column B. So it means that our table starts from column B to the end of the table. The column index number is the column number from which you want to now pull the data from, the relevant data. So for the movie, you want to pull our first objective was the genre. So what you do is you choose column 2. Don't start from column A. You start from where the table array started from. So in this case, our table array started from B to E. So you start counting from column B. So 1, 2. So we say 2. And in this case, we want exact match. And then you close the formula. So voila, it returns the genre. And you can easily drag down to the rest of the movies. It can be hundreds, thousands, whatever. You can just simply drag it down and it will return accurate values. So if you just want to double check, let's look for Forrest Gump, the manual way, Control C, Control F, Control V. Oh, okay, sorry, it's because I've selected some rows here. So yeah, comedy drama, comedy drama. So the formula works, it returns the correct value as long as you have ensured that you have kept false here. If you keep true, it will lead to wrong values. So like here we just tested this. So if we keep true, you see it brings something completely different. So it's always wise to keep false. I will explain where the true works, but if you want an exact match, you keep false, simple. So now the same formula, you can also drag it across. So in this case, content rating lies in column 3, IMDb lies in column 4. So you can simply just copy paste the formula as it is and change this to 3. And again, copy the formula, paste it here, change it into 4. And then once again, you drag the formula down so that your whole table is filled. Now also again, I want you to imagine, what if you had a number of columns here? It will be very tedious again to copy paste each formula. And remember, there's the drag feature available in Excel, which should make your life easier. So let me just delete this again. Now I want the only thing which is, when you are scrolling it across, or when you are dragging it across, you notice that the table changes, the lookup value changes. So let's make them absolute first. So in this case, the lookup value, we need column B to remain intact. So let's put the dollar sign there. I will talk more about the absolute and relative references in a future video. So be on lookout for that. And also we want our table to remain constant, our table array. So we've also freeze that. So now if you notice, our table array and lookup value remains same, but now the only problem is this number 2. It also remains frozen because it is hard coded, and whereby what we want is column D to contain number 3 and column E to contain number 4. So this is the way to go about that. So instead of column 2, there's a formula which returns the column where the formula is inputted. So let's say the formula is this one. So it simply returns the column number of a reference. Reference is, you can either reference a cell. So you can say I want to get the column number of this cell, which returns number 2. And then if you leave it blank, it uses the reference as itself where the formula is located. So in this case, it will be column number 3. So using that to our advantage, we can nest the column formula. So instead of writing 2 here, we write column. And then now again, there are two ways. Either you can reference column B to return number 2, or you can just self-reference it by leaving it blank and then do -1. So this one by this one will return column 2 in the formula. So now once I drag this formula across to D, it will return number 3, because the formula will return 4 and then minus 1, which is 3. So it will return the correct value. And once again, if you drag it forward, it will return column 4, and then you can drag it down. So let's say if you had hundreds of columns as well, once you have entered this formula, you can simply drag it across and also drag it down, and you can have your data filled within minutes. So now the next step I wanted to show was this false argument. So far we have been using exact match, but let's say we wanted to do an an approximate match. Now, what the approximate match simply does is it looks for, remember in when we're looking at the formula, it said that, let me just put it here as the description was quite big. It said that by default the table must be sorted in an ascending order. So this applies to especially the true argument. So now let me just convert this IMDb score to whole numbers. So I will just do this times 10, so that they come as whole numbers. I don't mind keeping the decimals, but we could have easily removed the decimals using the round off function. And now what I want to do is group this number, the rating, by either good, like this is what I have here. So whatever is between 0 and 5, I want it to mark as poor, 5 to 9 as average, 9 to, okay, I just wanted to show this should be in ascending order, remember. So 7 should come first and 9. So whatever is between 5 and 7 will go to average, whatever is between 7 and 9 will go to good, and anything above 9 will go to amazing. I will show you. I was just testing this. I was just testing how the if the table is not arranged, how it will work. So I will show you once I've completed the formula. So let's do the grouping now. Group. So VLOOKUP. Now remember, in this case, our VLOOKUP will be this, because that's what we are going to reference it in the other table. So VLOOKUP, in this case, our table array is A to C. Our column index is number 3, 1, 2, 3 from the start of the table. Always remember that. If your table is starting from E, you start counting from E. And then this time we want approximate match. So what approximate match will do is it will start looking for the value here. So for example, if we just go back, it is 7.4. So what it will do is it will go down the table until it finds the value which is greater than the lookup value, and then it will take the previous row. So in this case, 7.4, it will start looking from here, it will hit a wall when it reaches 9, and then go back and return the value from this row now. So our column index will be 3, false, sorry, true, and enter. So it returns good, which is here. So we can once again drag the formula down. And also keep note one thing. What I've been currently doing is that during the selection of table array, I just select the full columns. But if you want to select the exact table, you can also do that. But when you are dragging it down, you make sure that the values are absolute. So yes, you can see the values like pixels 5.19 is average. So anything between 5 and 7 is average. anything above 9 is amazing. Yes, so that's how the true function works. And now I want to go to the last variation of the VLOOKUP formula, and it's actually not VLOOKUP, but now it will be a combination of a different formula. That's where I said that we have multiple lookup formulas, and one of them is a combination of using match and index. So so let's say in this case, remember our table array started from B to E, but now what if you want to look for the director name of the movie, which is falling to the right of the lookup value? So in this case, VLOOKUP formula will be helpless. You will not be able to use the VLOOKUP formula here. So in this case, you will be using the a combination of match and index. So I'm going to create a separate video on match and index. But what the formula essentially does is match returns the value of the it returns the position of the lookup value in a certain array, and then index. So let me just start by match. So match returns the lookup value, so it returns the position of the lookup value. So in this case, it will return again the syntax is very similar. So it returns number 21. So you can see it returns the position of the lookup value. For example, if I just go and search this, you will notice that it lies in 3529, which it returned here. And then what index does is that it returns, we can just look at the returns a value or reference at the intersection of a particular row and column. So basically what it does is, here we are defining the array, and then it returns the value of the it returns the what it does is it returns the value where the position which we are defining is. So here, like array, we will define the array and then the row number. So it returns the value of that row number. So let's say if we were to write this formula index, and then we choose the array as column A, and then we want to return number 21, because remember that's where the position of the movie was. So what it will do, it will return the director, the name, the value of that column in that particular row. So now if you combine the two formulas, instead of 21 we make it dynamic. So it returns the director of this movie, and then once again you can just drag it down as usual. So this is a powerful combination where index match. Oh, it can, by the way, if you noticed, it can also be used for any other normal VLOOKUP formula. It can replace any of these VLOOKUP formulas. So I know the match index is a bit complicated, but I'm going to go over it in a future video. I'll start with match, then index, and then we look at the combined function again. So yes, that's how powerful some of the formulas in Excel can be, especially when used in combination. For example, we saw how the VLOOKUP formula can be used with the column formula, how the index formula can be used with match formula to create powerful functions. And ultimately, all these could have been replaced by the match formula, and then we would have made one master drag and fill. So thanks guys. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it, and of course subscribe to my channel for more future videos. Thanks.